Yes, greetings and welcome. I just thought I'd make a little video to talk about what is science. Well, you have what they call the sciences, like chemistry, physics, biology, etc., which is meant to be like how we find the truth of the natural world. But what science is really is the scientific method. And that is ways that we can find what is really true. If you follow the scientific method, that's science. And if you don't follow the scientific method, it's pseudoscience. I mean, science says to have gas pressure, you must have a container. That is developed from the scientific method, not pseudoscience. But then they want to tell us that the Earth is an open system in a vacuum, and that would violate the second law of thermodynamics. Because, they're telling us the Earth spins in a vacuum at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. So when did they measure the Earth spin? Well, there's no experiment that measures the Earth spin. What do we do but look at the sun move across the sky, the moon move across the sky, and the stars move across the sky? So logically, from what I observe, the sun, moon and stars are moving. From my garden here, any night of the week, if it's a clear night, doesn't matter what night, doesn't matter what month, I can go and point at Polaris. Polaris will be in exactly the same spot every night the whole year through. Even though the Earth is spinning and is travelling at 66,000 miles an hour around the sun, I can go and look at Polaris in exactly the same spot. Actually, if I come out tonight and it's a clear night at 10 o'clock, I can go and point at Polaris, and I can go and see, and I can look at the Ursa Major, the Big Dipper. And then if I go outside an hour later, Polaris is in exactly the same spot, but Ursa Major, the Big Dipper, has moved. So it's like, look at the moon. This isn't something what they've said it is, like a dusty planet that their smart, intelligent man can walk and leap on. We don't even know what the moon is. But everything we've been told is a lie. You know how water works. Water level and always in a container. This liquid here, I can't put that stick on the outside of this container, but yet you're believing, not you, but people are, the doctrine that they're pushing is that the Earth spins and the water is, and sometimes look how calm the sea is, still. You've got winds blowing in every direction, and that's where they bring in their so-called Coriolis effect. There's a thing called the Coriolis effect, like if you're sitting on a roundabout, and this is a ball, and I throw up the ball while spinning on the roundabout, actually the ball just goes straight up. But from my perspective, the roundabout is moving, beneath the ball, which is what should be happening on the Earth. If the Earth is spinning and you take off in a helicopter hovering, the Earth should be moving underneath you, Coriolis effect. But sometimes there is a Coriolis effect, sometimes there isn't a Coriolis effect. All depends on, if it's a fast bullet, there's a Coriolis effect. They have to measure for it and bullshit. It's all a bullshit. The ISS. It should be called TBS, the bullshit. Because there's no satellites in space, and if you actually start to look at it, you find that 99% of all communications worldwide is through undersea, deep sea cables. Well, that would mean that 1% is shared by satellites. But if you're talking about 1% of 100%, don't you see? Satellites don't exist, because anyway, they couldn't exist in a second law of thermodynamics violation. Yeah? if my window could see the sun sort of all day, and every day at noon at my window where the sun is positioned I put a dot with my marker pen, after 12 months I would have this figure of 8 shape, small at the top and a bigger circle at the bottom. Yeah. Well, the bigger circle is the Tropic of Capricorn, the outermost circle of the sun, and the smaller circle is the Tropic of Cancer, the furthermost in the sun travels. And if you were to look down on it, it would look like a spiral. It's called the analemma. And well, the sun is moving across the sky. So every year, around December the 24th, the sun moves inwards by 1 degree a day. And by 3 months, the sun reaches to the equator, which is what they call the equinox. And that is the middle between what they call Cancer and Capricorn. You know, the middle between them two. Yeah, so it reaches the equator around the 21st of March. And it carries on circling, carries on moving in by 1 degree a day. And 3 months later, at the 21st of June, it reaches the most inner part of its journey, arriving at the Tropic of Cancer. And that's when we have the summer solstice. Sol means sun, like solar, and stais means stop, or to stand still. So when the sun reaches the Tropic of Cancer, it stops moving by any degrees for approximately 2 days, until it changes direction and starts moving inwards again by 1 degree. The circle, you know, getting bigger every day until it reaches, you know, the outermost part of its cycle on December the 21st, or around December the 21st, when it stops making any moves by degrees and stands still for like approximately 2 days, the winter solstice. And that's why you have 300 and, well, they could say 365 days in a year, but you have the 360 and the 2 and a bit days of the sun standing still at the solstice, which makes up your, 364 and a bit days. So they say the sun is 93 million miles away. Think about it. 93, 9 3s, 3 9s. They code that number into everything. 24 hours in a day, 2 and 4, 6. 60 minutes in an hour, 6. 60 seconds in a minute, 6. Time is just like, there's 666, and space. And just wanted to reason about what science is, what gas pressure is, what gravity isn't, what ball earth spin isn't. If we actually use the real sciences, then we work out where we're not, because none of their thing actually makes sense. But it's upheld by Disney and Hollywood, and you can love all your space movies and all that. That's what keeps it all going. It's bullshit.